TKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mobile Weekly / Mobile Q&A, where we go over all the latest news that happened during the week of mobile and answer your questions live. Sorry, I forgot about my mic over here. This is sorry for that wind noise you may have heard a second ago. Had the mic right in front of the fan. But this is Mobile Weekly, and we are going to give you some really good tech news, as always. But if you do have any questions you'd like to ask, just ask in the comment section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. All right, guys, we do have a good amount of content going here today, so let's get started with it. And first of all, Happy New Year. Happy 2023. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, very excited to get started, and let's start with the Galaxy S23. And there's a lot of news on this device. Obviously, we are about a month away from its announcement, so a lot of leaks will begin coming more and more as the time goes on, and I, for one, am definitely excited about it. First off, the big news that a lot of people wanted to talk about was the look of it. Now, this is a render, meaning that it is not going to be final build, but these come from schematics of people that have basically seen prototypes, and they're saying like, okay, it should look like this. And this is a very interesting design. So it is a much more flat design, much more squared than we've ever seen an S series really be at. I think the last time we had one this kind of shape was more of the S5 and S6, S6, I should say, and the S7 started bringing that curved display. Now, what this is saying, it will be a flat display, which let me know in the comments section. So I know there is a lot of grief that gets over when it comes to Samsung having a curved display. You know, Samsung did invent the curved display on smartphones per se a long time ago with the Note Edge, which came out at the same time as the Note 4. Then on the S6, I think we had the I want to say it was the S7 Edge that was the first Edge phone. I could be wrong. Maybe there was this S6 Edge as well, but that Edge really kind of drew a lot of people to it. It was different. It was something unique, and it was something different in a front screen display. As you look on most front screen displays, they pretty much look the same for a while now on Android. So having a difference in that is something that I think we would want. But I'm not sure how I feel about a completely flat display and giving a more squared off design. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I, for one, did kind of like the curve. I know a lot of people are in the camp of get rid of the curve, get rid of the curve, get rid of the curve. But for me, I just liked the better feel of it and the cool look it gave us. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. I'm very curious to see where you guys land. Next, we have something else, and that is that the rumor currently is right now, and I hope this is true because it would be so cool if it is, that as of right now, the current rumor is that the smaller S23 and S23 Plus will also be getting 256 gigs of storage as a starting point. That is awesome. I think it's been a long time coming since we got rid of the micro SD card. I think this makes a lot more sense, and it does give some credence to, you know, we don't know how Samsung is going to go at this point. We do not know if Samsung is going to go a higher price point or keep it the same price point, but I will say this. If they raise it $50 from last year, so if it's not $799, $999, and $1199, if it's instead $849, $1049, and $1249, I will say that if it comes with 256 gigs built in at that price point, I think it'll be a lot easier for people to take that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys just, you know, want more storage at the same price? I think that would be what everyone would want. But I will say getting 256 gigs of storage built in at a $799 price point would really make people have to fight for that competitive nature that Samsung is giving us with this price point. So I'm very curious. Let me know your guys' thoughts, because that is a really, really good price. Just saying. Let me know what you guys think. All right. Next, we have something else about the S23, which as of right now, tipster that gets a lot of things right, Universe Ice, Ice Universe is the name, Universe Ice is the handle, has said that the S23 Ultra's night mode is true night vision. Now that is very interesting because this is going to be the first 200 megapixel camera mainstream that biggest part of it has the computational photography behind it from a company like the big three, like Google, like Samsung, like Apple. So for it to be the first one to have a 200 megapixel with that, it very well could be very impressive. The detail that a 200 megapixel camera gives you, along with the computational photography, giving you a much better low light than we've seen. The thing what a lot of people are kind of like, well, let's see, is because the big thing that came out this year out of China towards the end of the year was this brand new Sony sensor that is a full 1-inch sensor. That's the biggest sensor we've ever seen on a smartphone. It's the same sensor that we had on cameras in the A6000 series that people used in Sony cameras for so long and shot YouTube videos on and are still shooting YouTube videos on to this day. So that is pretty insane. And, you know, we've had phones like the Vivo X90 Pro Plus win the best low light in that very competition on MKBHD's low light blind camera test comparison recently. And it's because of that 1-inch sensor. It just looks so well done. But this is where I think it's going to be very interesting. The thing I really want to see out of Samsung, to be quite honest, in low light that I think Google does better is I want warm colors still, not very light colors. Like Samsung seems to lose their vibrant colors in low light, and it more concentrates on brightening things than really having a rich color. As we get in their day-to-day shots, we kind of lose that sometimes in their low light shots. So I'm very curious if that will change and how will that go. But it's a really promising thing. Like, I'm very excited about it. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited about getting better low light and what a 200 megapixel camera will really give you with that computational photography behind it to basically carry and improve all the faults that it would have. All right, then we also have this, which is, it looks like Samsung has put in a better cooling system this upcoming year's model, so there will be no thermal throttling. A lot of people have complained over the past 2 years, I want to say, about Samsung having thermal throttling with the S22 and S21. Namely because of the fact that, you know, those chips ran very hot, but what we got is every time that it was getting towards that top threshold of processing computing power, it basically throttled down. So this way, it does not look like it's going to throttle down because of the better cooling system. I, for one, I spent some time with the Red Magic 7 this past year, and man, that one had a cooling fan that you could hear. And it was a cooling fan inside of it to cool down that CPU and GPU, and it just did absolutely amazing. Never heated up as much as regular smartphones do. So I do believe in a good cooling system can really improve it, and it's supposedly what we're going to get in the S23 series. All right, now the final news today is going to again be on Samsung, but something very interesting, and that is Samsung has just hired the former designer for Mercedes-Benz to head its smartphone design team. So this is really interesting because I mean, you can say what you want about any car, right? But I will say Mercedes always had a really luxury style and very premium look to any Mercedes. I would argue that, you know, you can take a look at any Mercedes and it typically will look really nice. So despite functionality, despite, you know, how good something is, despite overpricing, all that kind of stuff, I would say it always looked really good. So that gets me excited for the design to completely possibly change in Samsung smartphones as soon as maybe next year. I mean, this is really cool. Like, we know the S23 is for the most part going to look very similar to the S22, but the idea of a completely revamp is something that I think is long overdue in the smartphone world, to be quite honest, by one of the big two, and that is Apple and Samsung. Apple did the whole dynamic island, and that was their big curve ball kind of thing. I think the hype was good for about a week, and then it kind of died off on that technology. But what I think really people have wanted to see is something really different, and we haven't had too much of a change. I mean, S21, S22 with the cameras being on their own and not by one whole side thing, that was different. But now this one looks like it'll fairly be the same. So I am definitely open to see what we could get design wise moving forward in the years to come. And I mean, maybe even some added luxury to high end, really expensive phones like the Fold. Like the Fold 1 had a beautiful presentation in that box when you opened it, because you were getting, a premium tier, and they wanted you to know that, hey, this is luxury. Fold 2, 3, and 4 did not have that same kind of box and style and, wow factor. So I'm very curious to see what we're going to be getting in the future. So, yeah. All right, guys. And with that, we will head to your guys' questions. If you guys have any questions you want to ask, just ask them in the comment section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. Hey, R. Roston, thank you so much for the super chat, sir. Really do appreciate it, as always. I would S-Class. I want a S-Class Galaxy. There you go. Get really bring that S series to an S-Class. There we go. That's what we have to do. What are you looking forward to in 2023, tech-wise and personally? All right. 2023, I think I'm hoping that we finally get an influx of augmented reality glasses. Let me pull these out. So these glasses, I love them. These are the Anchor frames, and these glasses are totally awesome. Every time I wear them, I get compliments. I get cool. Oh, that's so cool, the way it can do with it. And these are Bluetooth glasses with my prescription. So I can see with these glasses, and I can, see and everything, but I can take phone calls on here. I can listen to music on here. And I never have to put in any earbuds. Like, it's really awesome. And I truly do love wearing them for those purposes, right? Absolutely love it. I want more smart glasses because of that, but also I want to get back to augmented reality. Google Glass seems like so long ago, and it was, I still believe, a great concept that just didn't have the backing that it needed. But then I really think about, what we've seen since then. Google Glass bought a company that was doing very well in the augmented reality glasses market, and I'm trying to remember the company's name. North, I think it was North. Focals by North, and it was a really, I love the concept of it. That it was basically like the controller was a ring or a index finger joystick. So you put the it on your index finger, and you use a little joystick like this to navigate. It was simplistic. It was good. I could just do boom, and I could just click. It was very awesome, and it's in how it did it. And I loved it because anytime someone called, popped up on my screen. It was really cool for that reason. Now, this was bulkier than Google Glass, but it was, closer to what the Anchor sound cores were, closer to it. So with this one, I just want, as we're getting better CPUs, I was really excited to hear from both Qualcomm and MediaTek this year that they are pursuing processors that can fit in wearables such as glasses and sunglasses. So I really want to see that this year. I hope, we had that rumor that Samsung was going to have it. It was like called like the Samsung Glass and Samsung Glass AR, and we were going to get those 2020. And obviously everything happened. And so it got, okay, well, maybe 2021, maybe 2022, but nothing's happened. So I am hoping this year that, because I do believe, I think we can all agree in terms of smartphone, that market has gotten a little stale at this point, because I don't really believe many people can buy a bad smartphone. I mean, it's hard to now, right? Like it's you. So many smartphones will give you good CPUs, good GPUs, good camera, good battery life. Like it's really hard to get a bad smartphone now, but they're also kind of for the most part. So I really have always believed that augmented reality glasses would be the future, and I just want one of the big three to get into it, to jumpstart it. Because the minute one of them gets in, the minute Apple, Samsung, or Google get in, guess what? The very next year, the other ones are getting in. So I am super excited for that. So yeah, love to see how that goes, kind of thing. But yeah, I'm very curious. I'm very curious to see how it will go, how everything will go down. But yeah, we'll have to see. Personally, I do want to lose more weight, and I would love it. My goal at the end of this year. By the way, if you missed my tweet, I lost a total of 40 pounds in 2022, and my goal is to lose 50 in 2023. That is my goal, to lose a total of 50 in 2023. See how it goes. I lost 17 pounds over this past month in a weight loss competition, so I was very happy with that. I'm going to try to kind of not gain a lot back, and that's the main thing, is always try not to gain it back. But that's one of my things personally. The second thing I will have to say is my goal is, I have an income for my day job, right? I do social media and create content for Newegg. I make that much money with there. I'm at about here for YouTube in the amount of money I make compared to what I make at Newegg. I want to match it. That's what I want to do this year. I want to create more content, get more things out there, and do more to be able to do that. It's been a lot of refining. I went through burnout. I went through time when I couldn't record, and I am using CES this year as a real way to talk to companies, to get things going, to get things moving, and to be able to do that. Now, I might I've talked to a few agencies now that were interested in partnering with me, so that maybe I could, they could find me brands to work with and all these kind of things. And these are things that obviously all your big YouTubers do and have done, and they have complete teams for this kind of stuff at this point. But that's what I'm trying to get to personally. All right, now let me get back to your question. I'm going to zoom up to the top. Thank you, our Ross and Rob, for that donation. And yeah, let me go ahead and see what everything else you guys said. All right, in my opinion, looking at the specs for the S23, front-facing camera is a downgrade from 40 megapixels to 12. Also, regular S23 is a plus, offering 8 gigs of RAM, seems. S23 Ultra may not be worth upgrading to till the 24 series. Quite possibly. It just it really is something that I'm very curious how it will all pan out. But yeah, I do believe that there is a strong possibility that it might not be worth it to upgrade for a lot of people. Comparing year to year is always something you should take a look at. So yeah, well, I'm very curious to see how it'll all go down. Oops. Sorry, getting a lot of messages. Let me turn off those notifications. All right. I do kind of like the curve as well. Just got the Tab A for Christmas. I was thinking something different. Ah, no curve. There you go. Yeah, it doesn't have a curve on it. Obviously, it's going to be different compared to a lot of the Tab S series and everything. I need more 256 gig, 512, good for me. But yeah, the whole point is if we get the base to a cheaper price, that means the 512 will also be a cheaper price. So that's what's really exciting is that, if we go from 128, 256, and 512 to 256, 512, 1T, that is awesome. Like, that is true. Like, man, that is like what we want to happen. So will we get it? I'm very excited to see, and it would be great for 256 to be the baseline now. That's awesome. That would be so awesome. Yeah, I'm very excited for that, for sure. I'm looking forward to a flatter screen. I cracked the S22 Ultras. Hope that helps. So yeah, it's a fair argument that flat screens are also easier to apply screen protectors on, and also are easier so you don't hit those little curves on the side that could crack in a spider web. So both are possibilities, but it's again, I like the look of it more so. That's my stance on it. That's just what I like. But I totally understand the pros of a flat screen. There's pros and cons to the S23, and talking about the S24s ahead of time, I'm thinking upgrade S25 Ultra. I mean, who knows? Like, every year is going to offer you something, but does it really matter to you is always the question that you have to ask yourself. Like, okay, they improved the low light. Does that matter to me? No. Okay, then you shouldn't get it. Like, okay, they improved the battery life. Am I fine with my current battery life? Yeah. Then you shouldn't get it. Like, these are things you have to ask yourself, and they should determine. And obviously the other thing that helps determine it is your bank account. So yeah, all of this goes into it. Mercedes designer phones, fascinating. Yeah, it really is a cool thing that they're having for sure. Have you done a video on the glasses? The Soundcore frames? Yes, I believe so. Oh man. Oh, sure did. Here, Howard, thank you. I was like, it's been a long time since I got those frames, but yeah, apparently I did. I did do a video for the frames. I absolutely love the frames. They're so awesome. And the fact that you can change them out with like a different thing. I show this in a video, but that's how easy. So this is actually all the intelligence in the device. These two bands are actually the intelligence, and these are interchangeable. So you can change them out with, aviator sunglasses, whatever kind of fashion glasses you're looking for. Change them to anything. All right. Let's go with the next question. Happy New Year, Ricky. Want to buy an Asus ZenBook Pro Duo OLED. Got it. Okay, let me search this model. Do you think it's worth $800 difference to double the RAM and ROM i9 instead of Okay, so let me. Okay, Carlito, what are you using this for? That's the first question I need in order to answer. Like, how good is this? I need to know, what are you using this for? Because yeah, or else I won't really be able to answer that question. So let me see. Okay, let's see here. Let's close this stuff. Okay, so, oh my god, all these pop-ups. Let's go ahead and switch to here while I see that talking. So you're talking about an $800 difference between double the RAM and ROM, and instead of an i9 instead of the i7 for a 3050 Ti. So I will say right off the bat that this has a very low GPU compared to everything else. Like, I would expect a 3070 Ti with this kind of CPU, this kind of RAM, and this kind of storage. So, I mean, this is lower than what I have right now, for instance, to edit my videos on YouTube and everything like that. So, if you're okay, general workflow, and possible editing. So, for general workflow, the RAM, 16 gigs of RAM is what most average users are fine with. Most average users are fine with 16 gigs of RAM. 32 is a minimum for someone like me that does do a lot of tabs open. I have over 50 tabs open right now. I'm live streaming. I'm using a camera. I'm using my GPU to process this footage through a camera and live stream it out all at the same time. So I have all this going, right? So that being said, I have 40 gigs of RAM. I have an AMD CPU that's comparable to this Ryzen 9 CPU, and 4 TB of SSD on mine, and I have a 3060. So it's the slight bump up from your 3050 Ti. Overall, you could do photo editing. You could kill it on this. Video editing you could do on this. After Effects, it would take a while with this one. But I mean, the thing that a lot of people love about this one, that I have a great friend, Wayne, that uses this one specifically, and he loves this second screen. It's awesome for editing. It just really, it makes things really great. So are you asking me, is it worth the $800 difference to get 32 gigs instead of 16 and 1 terabyte instead? Here's the thing. I think 32 gigs and 1 terabyte in an i9 versus an i7 means that you could keep this laptop for 4 years, no problem. I think an i7 with 32 gigs and or 16 gigs and I will tell you, you can upgrade the RAM for way cheaper. You can upgrade the RAM to 32 gigs for way cheaper than this. As long as you can upgrade, make sure that it's upgradable and all that kind of stuff. It has the availability to upgrade, which I could check here real quick. Just tell me if it does. It does not tell me if the RAM is upgradable on Microsoft's site, but that's just one thing. But yeah, so I think for $800 difference, that is kind of a steep difference. And you could upgrade the SSD and RAM fairly easily. You cannot upgrade the CPU. I think for regular day workflow, i7 is completely fine, and you can just upgrade the RAM and SSD on your own. If you're really thinking long term for editing, i9 might help out, especially if you get into other more CPU heavy things, such as After Effects, such as Lightroom. Those are a little bit more CPU as well as GPU intensive, so that's what I would recommend. So if you can't upgrade the RAM, then I just don't know how much you're paying overall. I mean, you're paying for the luxury here, because is there better laptops with the same kind of specs for probably a cheaper price? I don't know the price that you're paying, but yes, you're paying for this kind of build, which again my friend loves, but just know that. So yeah, hopefully that helps narrow it down. But if you can't upgrade, then for me, I always go long term. So I might, for someone that I knew was going to utilize all of the ability, then I might say it's worth it. But i7, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 SSD is fine for most average users, no problem. So yeah, it really depends on how much into the editing. If editing is going to be your main goal in the long run, 32 gigs RAM does help. Just all that stuff helps when it comes to editing. So there you go. All right, let's get to the next person. Has anyone stepped up and accepted your open challenge for CES? Of course they haven't. They know they can't win. They know, all these other influencers out there know better. They know better. No, but if you did check out, please, if you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on Twitter, at some of your favorite tech YouTubers, at any of them, and tell them and at them on my previous post that I posted, challenging, open challenge to anyone at CES that wants to challenge me for any kind of tech demo, any kind of whatever. If we see, an arcade one up arcade and they see me in front of it, hey, challenge me to a video game. We'll see who wins. Want to take photos and see which one gets the most likes? Challenge me. We'll see who wins. So yeah, I'm very down for it. It's always fun, but yeah, that's my thing. It should be a lot of fun. I don't know if anyone will actually challenge it. I just thought I'd throw that out here just to have some fun. But yeah, at your favorite influencer, at I don't care if if it's not even an influencer, if it's someone that has whatever, like, oh, like I know they like WWE or I know they like wrestling, at them on that post, and we'll see if anything happens. I think it'll be hilarious if it does. And I'm very I very well know that I could possibly lose my title, but I'm not sure of myself in tech that I think I could take anyone. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If I were to be challenged by like an MKBHD, I might have a little flinch or something like that. But I'm very curious. Anyone out there? Let's go. So yeah. But yeah, it's just a fun thing that I came up with. So yeah, I did an open challenge to any influencer, anyone at CES, if they want to challenge me for my World Tech Championship. Hey, let's do it. Let's see. Bro, congrats on the weight loss. Also, this is your year to match it and exceed it. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, like, if I can lose another 50 pounds, I will be back down to the weight I was when I met my wife. And I haven't been to that weight since I was 24 years old. And that's over 10 years. And we don't need to get to how many years over 10 years that was. But that's a long time. So, yeah, I would love to be at that for sure. Hey, Jay Bree. Congrats on your weight loss, man. 24 pounds down in 2022. Awesome job, man. It's hard. It's difficult. It for sure is. So congrats on your weight loss. Awesome job, man. General. Oh yeah. I know I'm late, but I think it's a bummer that you have to go through Samsung to get a 1 TB on S23 Ultra. I wish my carrier T-Mobile would carry the 1 TB. Yeah, no, it's something that it's weird that Samsung does that. I'm assuming that they really just don't sell that many. I think that's the problem. I think if they would sell more, then they would do it that way. But my guess is they just don't sell that many, so that's why they're only doing it through them. And remember, it's most likely the carrier that's deciding that. So let me actually explain how this works. The carriers decide which phones they want. They always have, they always will. And this is the thing, how they see it. We only have so much storage in our back rooms in our stores. So they only have so much shelf space for Samsung, for for Apple, and then a little bit of space for everyone else, kind of thing like that. And that's really how it is. I've been to these back cages. I've been to the back part of a T-Mobile, of a Verizon, of an AT&T, Sprint when they existed. And, you can imagine that basically half of it is iPhones, right? And then about another, not even lying, another 30 to 40% of it is Samsung. And then there's the rest. So it really is like that, where basically, they only have so much space. So then filling up these spaces, what do they want? Well, they want some A series phones for the cheaper end. They want the S series for each of them. But then they typically in stores will only carry one size. And then if you want a bigger size, you have to get it online. Well, the warehouses then have to carry the rest. And that again builds the question is how much of do we want to carry these 1 TB that we might sell, we might not, we might have to do a fire sale at the end because we didn't sell that many. And Samsung to make that many we'll have to make it worth it, right? Like, okay, you have to order at least 10,000 of them, or it's not worth it for us to make. And the manufacturers might and the carriers might be like, well, that's a lot. We don't know if we're going to sell 10,000 1 terabyte versions. We rather just not carry it. That's how that conversation goes. So yeah. Um, which feature would you like on any upcoming phone or watch? Me, the ability to control a TV again. I love the IR blaster, man. I do. One thing that I'm getting ready for CES this week, and one thing I will always have with me in my backpack. Bam. This TCL 20 Pro. 20 Pro? Now 20 Pro or 30 Pro? I'm going to turn on and find out. This one has an IR blaster. It's the best phone currently that has an IR blaster that works in the US. But this one I always bring with me just because at that hotel room in Vegas, I'm going to be at the Link this year. I'm going to control that TV. Best believe I'm going to control that TV. I'm going to put whatever I want on that TV. I don't care what it is I want to put on that TV. I'm going to put it with this one. And this is going to control the TV, and it's going to be great. And yeah, this one, let me see which phone this is. And this one is... the TCL 20 Pro. I was right. So the TCL 20 Pro, still have this phone, and again, I will continue to have it just because it has this feature. But yeah, let's see. You know, 1,500 for an i7 with those specs isn't bad, to be quite honest, for getting that one. So you're talking about $800 more. That's 2,300. I would say it's good for the price. For that price, for that kind of specs is not bad. For 2,300, i9 32 gigs RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, 3050 Ti is the weakest part of that. But again, I like if you're doing 1080p editing, it's more than enough. If you're doing 4K editing, it might take you a little bit longer, but it'll still be good. So it's not a bad deal for 2,300. Not bad. Hyper middle school student. I have the S9 and I love it. Hey man, I mean, I had the S9. Like I always say, I would not change phones every year if I didn't have this job. If I did not have this job, I would not be changing phones every year. But it's, having this job that makes me say, I'm going to leave my S22 Ultra that I love so much for this Fold, because I should have this Fold because that's the new one, right? And now I'm going to switch from my Fold that I've gotten so used to, and I love the bigger screen, to this smaller screen S23 Ultra because, so it's just, it's a lot of this job is why I switch. But that's why I'm always like the first one to say, like, you don't need to switch every year. This might not be for you. You shouldn't upgrade this year. But I will also at the same time, like I told everyone that had a Note 20, like, dude, this S22 Ultra is your upgrade. It literally just improved everything. But again, not everyone even wants to do that. So it just depends. It really does. I have my money on Ricky. Thanks, Rob. Thank you for betting on me. I think I could take him. I think I could take all the tech YouTubers out there. Speaking of WWE, are you excited for WrestleMania? I am, man. I'm so excited. I might have people over for the Royal Rumble if you're free. So yeah, oh wait, I think you were the first one I invited. Never mind. But yeah, very much, yeah, it's really, I'm excited for it. And yeah, I'm excited for the possibilities. When it comes to WWE, I want Cody Rhodes to hold the title at the end of it. So yeah. Do you think in the days, year ahead, that there might make a Switch 2? The elusive Switch 2. at this point, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But I think the best we might be able to hope for this year is an announcement for a Switch 2. I could be wrong. Maybe there will be a Switch 2. Maybe they might announce it in March or, June, and we get it in this holiday season, and that would be awesome. That would be totally awesome. But I don't know. I will say the thing that gives me hope for a Nintendo Switch 2 is the fact that we saw a really bad thing with the Pokemon game. For those of you who don't know, the recent Pokemon game is not performing well because the Switch has a very old CPU and GPU on it. Like, it's very dated. And the rumor now is that the Nintendo Switch OLED, which by the way, I really love. Like, my daughter was playing it off the dock the other day, and I looked at that screen and I'm like, man, I really forget how good looking this version is because it's always docked. But that being said, like, that version, the OLED was apparently supposed to be the Switch 2, and they could not secure the new chips because of the CPU crisis and the GPU crisis and all the things that, everyone was fighting for CPUs and GPUs, and it was a really big hindrance. So now that we're at the end of that for the most part, and there's so many new factories being built around the world, so that we don't have a reliance on one country anymore, it really is something that it's just like, okay, we might be able to do this kind of thing. Like, we really might be able to get a new one. But I just don't know. I mean, if Nintendo keeps making money, they will not make a new one. But the Pokemon issues might be the first drop that, okay, you're losing money now. This sold nowhere near what it should have because of the poor performance. So that makes me think that possibly we're going to get it. But yeah, I would be really. I'm more, to be quite honest, I'm way more excited about the idea of a Steam Deck 2. And I think that will be announced this year. I think in 2023 we will get the announcement of a Steam Deck 2. I don't know if it'll come out this year, but the Steam Deck 1 was so awesome that if we get something close to that, I played God of War on the go. You know how cool that is? Like, I played God of War on the go on a Steam Deck 2. Like, if Sony doesn't get in on this, like, they are going to miss out. I know, there's been talk of like a PSP resurgence or something like that kind of thing. If they can get in on this, it would be so good. Because I think if Sony gets in on portable, they could, do something amazing. I think they could really do something amazing. I'm excited for the VR2 too from Sony. I've already pre-ordered it. I'm getting it in February, I think, when it comes out. So excited for that as well. Definitely going to do content on that. All right. Definitely IR Blaster is always awesome. Absolutely. Thank you for your advice, UK Sterling, by the way. If that changed anything. No, I saw that the website was UK for that model, so I understood it was UK. I'll be glad if the Fold has an S Pen built in on the housing on it. Yeah, it needs to, man. It really needs to. The Fold needs to change. For the Fold 5 needs a big update. I think S Pen inside, better camera, maybe not the 200 megapixel, but maybe the 120 megapixel camera from the S22 Ultra would be a great way. And you need to change the design. This N2 from Oppo, I don't know if you guys have seen it because it's only in China, but there, Mr. Mobile did a great video on it recently. Follow him if you haven't. He's my favorite YouTuber. Um, Mr. Mobile just did a great video. It just released today or yesterday on the Oppo N2. It looks amazing, guys. And that is supposed to be where the Pixel Fold is going to take its cues from. I would be so excited for that. Like, I would be so excited for that. And I agree with him. OnePlus, which is the same company, shared company as Oppo, should make that in the US, and people will start talking about OnePlus not so much in a negative light. Like, OnePlus is so much of a now. It really is. And it's because, like, what do you bring to the table? Fast, great. Pixel kind of has that. Oh, well, we offer more features than the Pixel. Okay, but do you offer the same camera? Sometimes not. It's just like I really OnePlus needs something, and that would be it. That would be like to get people excited about OnePlus again. We should get a lot of money from Samsungs when we trade in our old phones, hopefully. I mean, I think Samsung does a great job with trade-ins, to be quite honest. At least with I order from Samsung directly, okay? So I order from Samsung directly. I think we get a lot for what it's worth. Like, I mean, for a lot of phones, like, I mean, you get like 800, 700, 900 for like older S21s from last year's to S22, right? Like, I mean, you get good value trade-ins, I would say. Now, maybe not might be with all of their series. I'm not sure. I don't buy every single one of their phones, but I would say you get pretty good value for your trade-in if you go through Samsung. I can't speak to every carrier. I can't speak to all that, but I usually buy directly through Samsung, and I would say you get a good discount with it. I hope you acknowledge your tribal chief, Ricky. I always do. I always do. But wrestling has more than one royal family. If you're a wrestling fan, you get that. Hello, Ricky. What do you think about all AMD Alienware? Ryzen 7 6800H, Radeon RX 6800M, 64 gigs of RAM, DDR5 RAM at that, 400 MHz, 4K 720p display, M.2 Pro. I think it's really good. And I might be under embargo for new stuff that's coming out too. And that's all I can say about that for new stuff. But wait a week. Wait a week. Might be some new announcements. I think if for those of you who don't know, CES is happening this week. It's the biggest tech convention in the world, and a lot of things are typically announced, from new desktops to new laptops to new tech. Sometimes Samsung's A series is announced at this event. There's a lot of new things that are announced at this event. A lot of speculation is going to be about new laptops with new CPUs and GPUs. So yeah. I'm trying to wait until December 2023 to get the S23 on a deal. I have a OnePlus 7 Pro, aging quick. So you're trying to wait to the end of this year. I'll say, to be quite honest, Braden, that to be quite honest, the S23 will probably be cheaper at launch than later. Like, the launch is the cheapest you usually can get a device. Now, if you're trying to save money for it, all that stuff, totally understand. Then you should wait till the end of the year, because the end of the year will give you the best deals. Absolutely. Outside of the pre-order. Because the pre-order, you get $100 increase usually on your trade-in value from your current phone than you would otherwise. You also typically get about for an Ultra anywhere between 150 and 250 worth of credit to buy whatever accessories you want. So that includes cases, chargers, whatever you're looking for. You can even save it typically for later and then use it on something else. If you want to use it on a smartwatch, if you want to use it on whatever, an appliance, you typically can save that credit for, I think, usually a month later, up to a month later, to then buy something else with it. So that would be my advice for it. But all right, guys, we are nearing the end. I just want to remind you guys there will be no Mobile Weekly next week, just because I will be getting back from Vegas. I will be tired. I'm going to be working 7 days straight. Like literally tomorrow, I drive down to Vegas, and I'm hitting the ground running. I'm going to visit with over 50 companies at that event. So I've given myself a lot, but I really do want to make some new connections, some big connections, and really kind of design, a way to really lift this channel to the next mark. I mean, the fact that I'm about to get to 400,000 subscribers is really awesome. I have over 400,000 if you count all my followers and subscribers across platform. So I'm really looking for something that'll be really great, but we'll have to wait and see. But if I can, I mean, that would be great, guys. It would just be great to really be able to support myself on this channel alone, and then everything else will be awesome. I'm gonna wait a week therefore for the Duo in 2023 announced in CS. I mean, I might cover certain companies. Yeah. Again, I'm under embargo, so I cannot say anything about what I know and what I definitely know. So how many fireworks did you hear last night? I am going to be honest. I knocked out early. R. Rossin, sorry I didn't text you back too. Just Rich came over and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like it really I knocked out. I think I fell asleep like when my son started getting ready for bed. So like around 8:30 or so at 9. I knocked out. I was just so tired, and I don't know why. I was really tired last night, just trying to preserve my energy, I guess, and trying to really relax. I wanted to get some videos done, and I was just like, I'm just so tired. So yeah, I think now it's just mentally I'm gonna pack for everything after this video's done and just get ready for it all. When's the best time to get the Fold 5 on a deal? The best time to get Samsung phones, like I said, is usually pre-order. Pre-order is typically the best time of year. Samsung has a July event that usually coincides with with Amazon's Prime Day. That's a good other time. And then the best time, second best time after pre-order is going to be the holiday season. They typically do give really good deals then. Do you think Sasha Banks will go to AEW? I don't think she can. So here's the thing. WWE could have froze her contract, and she's not actually free. All these trades are saying that she's free. WWE hasn't said she's free. Sasha herself hasn't said she's free. We've seen her in Japan. I understand that and all that kind of stuff. Shinsuke's right there too. And he's still WWE. So I do not think Sasha Banks is a free agent. To be quite honest, that's my. I just don't see why WWE wouldn't have frozen her contract. Maybe just because Triple H is a nice guy, he's not doing it like Vince did. But I just don't see why they wouldn't have frozen her contract so she couldn't leave. If they reached an agreement where she could leave, they could have easily said that you cannot work for a U.S. company for X amount of time. So that would negate AEW and TNA. It wouldn't negate New Japan. So that's my thing. But there you go. Yeah, I hope to see you in the Rumble, man. 50 companies. Whoa, almost as cool as 50 first date questions. Yes, But 50 First Date Questions is really cool. Shameless plug time. If you haven't seen 50 First Date Questions before, it is an app that I created. It is a fun date app where you can ask your significant other or the person you're on a date with a question. They can ask you a question. You can find out about 50 First Date Questions is available on Android and iOS, and it really does help you know if you're right for each other. Rest is more important. Totally understand. I mean, it is, but I do have to get past that this year. Obviously a lot's changed since I've become a father of 2 kids, not just one. And babies needed a lot more of my time. So it really has been a task to juggle the 3 careers I have. 4 actually this year when I was a real estate agent again. But father, day job, and influencer. So yeah, it's a lot. But I used to be able to get pushed through at night and just be like, all right, no, I gotta do it tonight. I'm gonna knock out these videos. I'm gonna get to do it. I've been more tired now, and I don't know if it's a sign of getting old or just not having the same enthusiasm, but that will change. That will change. So yeah. All right, damn. I was hoping to see her at AEW when they came to Inglewood. I definitely don't think that'll happen, just because I think she's been seen in Japan right now. Again, Shinsuke Nakamura is a WWE person, and he is in Japan right now. But yeah, that's it. I think WWE is going to be working with other companies. Nakamura was just in New Japan. Yep, he just did for everything. So yeah. Husband, father, influencer. It's a lot, man. And that's the other thing too. Like, just to be able to get away sometimes is really great. Like, me and my wife had an amazing date night the other night. It was just so nice, and it's so great to have all the different sides of you, kind of thing, and take time for each of them. It's really healthy. Make sure you give attention to everything you can and everything that's important. That's just my advice. All right, guys. I would love to say more, but I gotta get packing and ready for CES. And again, please go to Twitter, go to Instagram, and tag your other favorite tech influencers on my post, and let's see what happens. Thank you guys always so much for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Get ready for so much CES coverage. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at YouTube Tech Guy, because there's going to be a lot. See you guys not next week, but see you guys on the road with all these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow me at YouTube Tech Guy, and also follow at Newegg, especially TikTok. I will be a lot on Newegg's TikTok over these next few days, so follow me there as well. Thank you guys again for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.